Good afternoon from Heal the City. I am Pastor Margie Gonzalez, the chaplain here, and I just want to bring you another Take 5 segment. And today I want to read out of Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. It says, "This is my command, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." This is a verse that some of you might already know, and for me it's one of the first Bible verses I memorized as a child. Every time I was afraid to do something, my mother would remind me of this verse. And back then, you probably can't believe it, but back then I was very bashful, shy, and timid. And so that meant that my mother had to remind me of this verse quite often. It was her way of helping me face hard things. And today, I think this verse is going to help you as well. And there are three things that God makes clear in this verse. First of all, God commands us to be strong and courageous. If there's anyone who will make us face hard circumstances or face our fears, it's God. He makes us, or he commands us to be strong, not in our own strength, but in his strength. And our strength means absolutely nothing. It's God's strength in us that makes the difference. He also commands us to be courageous, and courage is basically the wherewithal to face difficult situations even when you're afraid. It's the ability to do things in the midst of being afraid, in the midst of being fearful. Secondly, God commands us not to be afraid or discouraged. He tells us plainly that we should not be afraid or discouraged. Those two things are the opposites of being strong and courageous. In fact, fear and discouragement are two of the top things that become our spiritual enemies. They make us miss the amazing purpose that God has for our lives. What happens is we let fear stop our obedience, and then we become discouraged because we know we're not living up to our full potential in Christ. And you can certainly see why we're warned not to let fear and discouragement take over our lives. And the third thing that God does in this verse is he reminds us that he is with us wherever we go. I want you to think about that, because another Psalm 139 says that he goes before us, he goes behind us, and he encompasses us. He surrounds us. And so we can be strong and courageous because God is with us. We don't have to be afraid or discouraged because God is right there in our midst. And so I want you to know, and I just want to challenge you to know that you can say no to fear and to discouragement, and you can choose to be strong and courageous, because we aren't doing this thing alone. We're not living alone. God is with us. God bless you. Difíciles aún cuando tienes miedo. Quiere decir que aún en medio del temor sigues adelante.